Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from a wind-battered and rain-battered northeast of England. Welcome to the Joshua Wren podcast. Thank you very much for joining me again. If you've been here before, apologies for the long layoff. I've been in hospital recovering from surgery, as a lot of you may know. I had recorded a podcast in hospital, but due to the various machines and pumps and clicks and bells and whistles and things that were going off, it was fairly inaudible. So I thought I'd leave it and best record a fresh one. So here I am, a lot going on this week. I'll give you an update on my surgery, including hopefully in the next side of this podcast, the next one, an interview I did with my surgeon. Really, obviously, intelligent guy, but very, very good at what he does. He's an industry leader in what he does. He specialised in orthopaedic surgery, specifically knees and hips. He's quite a preeminent professor. So it was really cool talking to him, and it was cool that he agreed to do it. So either later in this episode or the next episode, I'll get around to doing that. So a lot going on this week. I don't want to go too deep into it because I think it's been an ever-presence for the past few days. But my thoughts are obviously with everyone affected by the Paris tragedy. It's not just the 129 people. Obviously, it's easy to forget that around that there are thousands directly affected by it, with family members and friends and such, and hundreds of thousands, millions affected by it in terms of the fear it induces. It's horrific, and it may make it seem a little bit about myself, but having seen the band in question at the theatre, it makes it feel a little bit closer to home. I don't know why. Obviously, it's nothing to do with me. I didn't know anyone personally affected by it. But obviously, my thoughts are with everyone. Some of the life-affirming positive things that come out of it were people walking through the streets of Paris the night of the attack, or the very early the morning after, with banners saying "We're not afraid." The blood bank, with its line that had tripled in size or something around the morning after. The Sikh Church, the leader of the Sikh Church organisation in France, put a tweet out saying he would leave the doors of any of their temples or their holy buildings open all night if anyone needed shelter they could. The Porte Ouvrier hashtag movement, in which people were leaving their doors open all night, so if people needed shelter they could. It would be remiss to say it's not had an effect on everyone. It has, but coming closer together on the other side of it, obviously it doesn't by any means make it worth it, but it lets people know that we won't be shook and we won't back down. And one of the little very, very faint silver linings in the whole thing is maybe that now there'll be some action taken, and the sacrifice made by those 129 people, as I read this, I know there's more critical, won't have been in vain. I know it wasn't their choice. Maybe if it was, they wouldn't have chose it. But, it was bestowed upon them, so hopefully their sacrifice will save millions more. Okay. Yes, surgery. My surgery went very well by all accounts. There's a very, very small incision that the main body of the work was done through. It's maybe 2 inches long, if that. There are a bunch of other smaller holes for instruments and cameras and things like that, but the main surgery was done through a 2.5 inch incision. Apparently the cut through my bone was so clean, and the clamps or the plates and the screws used to bolt me back together pull the bone in together so tight that it's as if there was never any break in the bone in the first place, which is obviously beneficial. I've had zero pain so far, which is marvellous. No morphine, no oxycodone, none of that. I've been taking paracetamol and ibuprofen regularly, just to keep on top of it as part of the protocol they set out before I left hospital. That's pretty much it. I'm obviously on crutches. I'm moving slowly, but I'm moving. I was moving out of hospital. I was able to get up the morning after my surgery and walk around which it's miraculous as far as I'm concerned that people can do this kind of thing, and that science has got to the point now where you can have your femur cut in two and bolted back together and walk out of hospital the next day. I was stoked with it. Thank you to everyone at the Hampshire Clinic. Thank you to my surgeon and his team. It was really cool, actually. There was a bit of a delay in my surgery, and I was waiting all gowned up in the anaesthetic area with bits of tubes and wires and stuff sticking out of me, ready for surgery. But there was a delay in the surgery before. Understandable. It is what it is. I was obviously away with the fairies at that point. They'd give me some sedative, but not enough to knock me out. And the surgeon and his team came out. There was Mr. Wilson, my surgeon, and his two, apologies if you're listening to this, but I forgot your names at the time. I know you told me, but I'd had a lot of narcotics by that point. And there was me, two anaesthetic nurses, and the three surgeons waiting in this area whilst I believe they were cleaning down the theatre from the previous surgery. And we just got talking about life, really. It was quite a nice little 10 minutes. It sounds quite odd to say that, but Mr. Wilson was telling me about how he went to see AC/DC, how he met Sean Ryder from the Happy Mondays. We just sat and joked about. It was really quite cool. They're interesting guys, and I'm glad I got to see behind the curtain to a degree. It's easy for me it's easy for everyone, I guess you'd say, to have this relationship with their clinicians, their surgeons, their doctors, where it's strictly professional. But it's been really cool seeing behind the scenes and seeing them as people. It really is. And whilst I was laying there, and I think they were just finishing up the previous surgery, there was some kind of Britpop coming out, like In Spiral Carpets, the Happy Mondays, a bit of Oasis, really quite loud as well. So, and that made me feel really at ease and really comfortable, and it really calmed me down. In the silence, your mind wanders, but the fact that they're just normal guys, and like I would when I'm sat with an equation, I'll put my earphones in, or if you're, God, I don't know, working out or sweeping the floor, hoovering the floor, whatever you're doing, driving to work, the fact that they listen to music as well, it just kind of heightened that little connection. I thought it was really cool. He came to see me the morning after. He explained to me what they did, which is really good. I obviously agreed to be on the podcast, which is really cool. So, yes, considering how extreme it's been and the severity of the correction they needed to do, it couldn't have gone any better. As I say, I'm walking around. I've started physio. I'll be off crutches within 4 weeks. And I can start load bearing in terms of weight training within 6 weeks, which I think is absolutely astounding. I'm going to take that with a pinch of salt because although I don't think I'm overweight in terms of the BMI anymore, I am a big guy. I'm 6'2" and 240 something pounds at this point. It might have gone up with water weight and stuff hospital, but I'm a big old boy. So that will obviously have an effect on my recovery, how much I'm allowed to weight bear and so on and so forth. But yeah, I'm looking good. It looks by the time New Year comes around, I'll be back to normal. Fingers crossed. In other news, spoiler alert, UFC 193. Anyone listening, if you don't want to know anything about it, please turn off now. But you'll find out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ronda Rousey got knocked out. Completely knocked out. I'm not surprised. Holly Holm's obviously a stud, a complete stud. She executed a game plan to a T. I don't know if it was in a game plan to rattle Ronda Rousey at the weigh-in. She looked rattled. I think there's a difference between anger and frustration, and Ronda looked completely frustrated. Anger can keep you calm sometimes and keep you centered, but she looked rattled. She was twitchy. So I'm honestly not surprised she was running in headlong, and I'm by no means a boxer. I've done boxing for a little bit, but if you run in on a tall boxer with your head up again and again and again, you're just going to get clipped and clipped and clipped. It's easy for me to say that, and I'm not taking away from the girl. What she's done is amazing, absolutely astounding. The impact she's had on the sport, the impact she's had on just the industry, really, combat sports in general, movies, everything. My sister knows who she is. My sister's never seen a fight in her life, and my sister knows who she is. So it's not to take anything away from that, not at all. I just think that she didn't really stick to her guns, or maybe she did, and maybe just Holly was better on the night. I don't know, but I want to take a moment to talk about how fickle really fickle everyone is being. She's done, she's over, whatever. I've heard rumblings and rumours that she's not a nice person. Fine, by the by. But she's an astounding athlete. She's a very, very good athlete and very good at what she does. And just because she got beat by someone with a much better game plan on the night, it would seem, doesn't take away from everything. Chael Sonnen very, very, very nearly beat Anderson Silva. And it was a matter of the clock, really, not him. If he just held on for another, I think it was 30 seconds or something, he would have won. BJ Penn got beat. George St. Pierre got beat. Anderson Silva got beat. TJ Dillashaw got beat. I think there's just everyone got beat. There's Cain Velasquez got beat. It's up and down the list. Jose Aldo's been beat. Everyone's been beat. So just because she's got beat doesn't lessen what she has done in the past. It doesn't lessen how good she will be in the future. In fact, it might humble her a bit. I think no one can argue that she might need that. But dollars to donut, she won't make that mistake again. Keep the chin tucked. Keep your hands up, keep your shoulders up, and find a way to get inside and throw her. But again, that's easy for me to say, sat in my sweatpants with my crutches sat next to me. But no, I've got no qualms with Ronda Rousey. I think she's amazing. If she's a nice person, I don't know. How would I ever know? But I think it's easy for people to just jump in and completely write her off. Whether you wanted to win or not, it is what it is. So yeah, brilliant event. Looking forward to seeing 194. I think Dana White and his exec staff will be shitting themselves wondering if Aldo will beat McGregor, because if he does, that's his two big stars out of the running. Again, easy for me to say. They've had this kind of thing happen before, and they'll bounce back from it again. They'll market whoever wins as the new star, or the veteran, or whatever. So yeah, but that'll be an amazing event. I'm going to go with Aldo, to be honest. I think he's an absolute killer. I think he'll give McGregor fits, but we'll see. I've been wrong before. It doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. So yeah, 194 coming up, 193 in the books. It's been good. I think that's pretty much it, folks. I'll keep you up to date with my my recovery. Yes, please keep me informed, and if you'd even like to speak to me, if you'd like to be on the podcast, I'm more than happy to do so. I'm more than happy to get involved with people, and I want this to try and just be a conversation with people I find interesting. I've never had any qualms about wanting people to hear my own voice. I don't particularly like the sound of my own voice. I don't want to get my message out there. I want to do this to meet cool people and have conversations with people I never thought I'd have conversations with, and discover things I never thought I'd discover. So please, if you're interested, I'll have anyone on. Really, as long as you're a cool person and I'm interested, just get involved, and we'll come to some kind of arrangement to have you on. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. Take care of yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.